Welcome to this video on converting between forms of quadratic equations. By the end of this video, you should be able to rewrite a standard form quadratic equation as vertex form and rewrite vertex form quadratic equations in standard form. Alright, so here's the idea in general. Is given a form, so this is a vertex form, you want to rewrite this to make it look like standard form. All right, so taking a look at these, the first thing you notice is this parenthesis squared. What that means is you have x plus 4 times x plus 4. So you're going to write these out, and then there's a plus 12 on the end. Now hopefully you're seeing where we're going with this. We're going to distribute, we're going to FOIL these out like we've talked about previously in class. And then we're going to combine like terms. That's really all you need to do. So we have x times x, or x squared. X times 4 for 4x. 4 times x for 4x again. And 4 times 4 for 16. So I FOILed the two parentheses, but then there's still a plus 12 on the end. So we're going to go through and we're going to look for like terms. X squared, there are no other x squareds. 4x and 4x is 8x. And 16 plus 12 is 28. I have, remember there's really a 1 there, ax squared plus bx plus c. That is my final answer. Okay, so now it went from vertex form to standard form. So really, you're going to write out your parentheses, and you're going to FOIL them, and then you're going to combine like terms. That's in general all you need to do. So let's take a look at 3. And how is 3 different from number 1? The only difference is this value out here, this a value. Okay, so we have to remember that. So we got the 2, then we have x minus 3 times x minus 3, because that's what the squared means, minus 7. So there's a couple different ways to approach this. Eventually, everything's going to, all of these have to be multiplied together. So we could multiply the two parentheses and then multiply in the 2. I can multiply the 2 to this parenthesis, creating a new parenthesis. There's a bunch of different ways. I'm going to just show you one way. Right now I'm going to keep the 2 on the outside, and I'm going to start multiplying these guys. So I still have a parenthesis because I'm going to have to multiply the 2 to whatever I get here. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. And that ends those parentheses, and then minus 7. Now, we were able to drop the parentheses in this first step up here because we had done everything and there was nothing else left to do other than combine like terms. We kept them here because I still have to multiply this 2 to whatever's inside this parenthesis. So I'm going to simplify a little bit before I distribute the 2 through, because I have some like terms within the parentheses. So I have x squared minus 6x, because these two guys are going to combine together, plus 9 minus 7. Now I'm going to go ahead and distribute the 2 through the entire parenthesis. So 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times negative 6x, negative 12x. 2 times 9 is 18. Now the parentheses can drop because I've done everything I need to do. Minus 7. We have one last set of like terms right here. So our final answer is going to be 2x squared minus 12x plus 11, because 18 minus 7 is 11. Now I'm in standard form from vertex form. Okay, let's try that kind again. So we have the 3 on the outside. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to rewrite the parentheses as 2. And then the plus 3. So I'm going to multiply these guys together first. I'm going to keep the 3 and do him next. So we have x times x for x squared. X times 1 for 1x. 1 times x for 1x. And 1 times 1 for 1. That ends the parenthesis, plus 3. Within the parenthesis, there's some like terms, so I'm going to go ahead and simplify. 3, then I have x squared plus 2x plus 1 plus 3. So now I'm just using my order of operations. I've got to take care of my multiplication. So this 3 is going to be distributed to all 3 terms inside the parenthesis. So we get 3x squared plus 6x plus 3. That ended the parenthesis, and there's still a plus 3. Our last like terms will give us 3x squared plus 6x plus 6. And now we're in standard forms. All right, and then we'll just go ahead and go back up to number 2, and we'll try the last one. A is 1, so we don't need to worry about a number out front. X plus 3 times x plus 3. We have minus 17, so I've just rewritten the equation, and now we're going to FOIL out our 2 parentheses. X times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 3 is 9. And because there's nothing else to multiply to that, that's why we dropped the parentheses, but there's still the minus 17. Now we're going to go through and combine like terms. We have like terms here and here. So we end up with x squared plus 6x minus 8. All right, so that is taking vertex form and putting it into standard form. On the other side, we're going to take standard form and make it look like vertex form. All right, so on this side, I'm giving the equation to you in standard form, right here, and I want you to make it look like vertex form. Right, so in the vertex form, what we really need is we need whatever A is, and H and K. Remember, H and K are the vertex. So we need to find the vertex. We need to find what the A value is. And then we're just going to plug in everything into the equation. Okay, so that's kind of a simplified version. Let's see. To find the vertex, remember we're going to find the x value of the vertex first, which is negative b divided by 2a. So b is negative 8, so negative 8 is positive 8 divided by 2 times a. So we get 8 divided by negative 2, which is negative 4. Okay, now you can put this into your calculator if that's the way you like to do this. We'll go into y equals, and I'm going to put negative x squared minus 8x minus 4, and I'm going to go look at the table of values for it. And I said my x value was negative 4, so if I go to where x is negative 4, it's a little hard to see. My y value there is 12, and I always check above and below to make sure the same number above and below, so I know I'm at the vertex. So we have negative 4 and 12, and my a value is right out front. See, a. What is the number out front? A is negative 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this information and we're going to plug this in. So here's the vertex form like this. Okay, so I'm going to plug in A is -1, so I'm going to put a -1 there. Parenthesis. X, now H is the X value of the vertex. So it's X minus -4. So it's got to become X plus 4. Because remember when we were taking the vertex out from our vertex form, we always had to change the sign opposite. So when we put it back in, we're going to change the sign opposite. So out here it's a -4, so when it gets put back in, it's a +4 because we had a -4. Then we have our squared, and then we have whatever our k is, which is a +12 plus 12. And that is done. That is in vertex form. All right, let's try number 3. 2 is very, very similar, so I'm going to try number 3. Remember, the first thing we got to do is find your vertex. So we're going to say -b divided by 2a. So b is -12, -12 is +12, divided by 2a is going to equal 12 divided by 4, which is 3. So we'll take our handy dandy calculator, go into y equals, I'll make it a little bit brighter so it's a little bit easier to see. Okay, and I'm going to say 2x squared minus 12x plus 11. And I'm going to go look at my table of values where x is 3. And always double check. I have -7. If I look above and below, I have the same number because my quadratic pattern is showing up. You see how it's symmetrical going out from the vertex. So when x is 3, y is -7. So I have my vertex, and my a value in this case is a +2. So remember, we're going to plug it into this form. Okay. So your a is +2. Then we have x. And remember, we're going to change the sign. This means we're changing the sign of whatever we're putting in there. This is a +3, so it's going to go in as a -3 squared, and my k value is -7. So let's look at that. If I gave you just this and said, what is the vertex? The vertex is 3, -7. And when I look, there's my vertex, 3, -7. So we plugged it in correctly. All right. Let's try number 5. Find your vertex. X equals -b over 2a, so it's -8 divided by 2a, which gives you -8 divided by +8, which is -1. And we'll put this into the calculator for x squared plus 8x plus 7. Go look at your table of values. If x is -1, it looks like our y value there is 3. Always double check. You see the quadratic pattern coming out above and below. So -1, 3 is my vertex. My a value is 4. I'm going to plug it into the vertex form of the equation, which is this. So I end up with y equals a is 4. X, this is a -1, so -1 is +1 squared plus 3. And there's our vertex form of the equation. All right, let's do one more because there's a fraction there, and I know sometimes fractions bother us, but that's okay. We can do this. Find your vertex. I'm starting the same way every time. That's a +8, so -8 divided by 2 times a equals -8 divided by 2 times 1/2 is just 1. So that's -8. Let's put this into our calculator. So I'll have 1 divided by 2, that's 1/2. And that's going to be multiplied to x squared. And then we have plus 8x minus 12. Go look at our table of values. And we said we're at negative 8, so I'm going to scroll up until I get to negative 8. And I have a y value there of 44, and you see the quadratic pattern above and below, so I know I'm in the right place. Negative 44, and my a equals 1/2. So we're going to plug it in to this vertex form. The a is 1/2, so I'm going to say y equals 1/2. X, I need h, which is negative 8, but this is minus h, so minus negative 8 is positive 8 squared, and then my k value is negative 44. All right, hopefully that was helpful for you. Let me know if you have any questions. See you in class.